wanna live a life.
That guy just, oh my gosh! Surprise, motherfucker! What? Oh my god, you're fucking crazy! What is up, you smexy individuals? My name is Birdman778, and welcome to our next thematic build video. Today, we're finishing off our Star Wars thematic series with our Darth Amara build. So when it came to this build, obviously, we wanted to finish off the Star Wars thematic series. We already had our Emperor Palpatine Zane, our Mandalorian Flak, our Stormtrooper AT-AT Mose, and we had to figure out something for Amara. And honestly, why not do the bad man himself, Darth Vader? With this build, I really wanted to focus on the fact that a huge part about Darth Vader is the fact that one of his iconic moves is the Force Choke, and how that kind of resembled the phase grasp that Amara can do as well. But before we get into that, let's go down our items and exactly what you need for this build. I am using nothing but Maliwan weapons. Why are we using Maliwan weapons? Because I think they resemble the most to like a Star Wars blaster, kind of futuristic energy weapon, stuff like that. So it made the most sense. We're using a beacon with ASE Rad, a flipper with phase grasp, charge time decrease and fire rate increase, a root with ASE Incinerary, and then a insider with ASE Cryo. Now, when it comes to elements, that kind of goes back and forth depending on what you want to use for what situation. But a lot of these you're going to notice is focused in fire. Why we pick fire? Well, Darth Vader himself once was Anakin Skywalker, and was burned on the Mustafar planet. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get just absolutely crucified by some Star Wars people for that one. Anyway, he got completely torched, and that's what essentially turned him into the Darth Vader that we see today, with the whole suit and the robotic limbs and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what, fire kind of makes the most sense in regards to that. For our other items, we're using a transformer with action skill cooldown rate increased, a phase zerker with action skill damage, pistol damage, heavy weapon damage, a pearl, and then a light speed grenade with weapon grenade action skill damage increased by 6 seconds. Now, I think this grenade probably caps off the entire idea of the build the most. Light speed, huge part about Star Wars, and even the red text, give me a parsec, as a reference to Han Solo himself. But with these other items, they kind of go around. I chose a pearl because I wanted to not really go into a whole lot of speed. A lot of people recommend using like a snowdrift or something like that. Darth Vader has never been a fast character. I've actually never really seen a whole lot of the Jedis be super fast or anything like that. So I decided to go against that and just do like the extra damage with the pearl. In regards to the transformer, it's probably my favorite shield just to in general give to anybody, since it gives you that shock immunity. And then also the phase zerker, because we want to do as much of those rush stacks as possible. It's gonna be the most beneficial with this build. And in regards to the augments down here, action skill damage is helpful just because you're going to be noticing we're going to be using fire with the phase grass. That helps it out. Pistol, we use a pistol, and then heavy weapon. If you want to change it out into like maybe like a plague bear or something like that, you can always throw that on. But honestly, you can use pretty much any phase zerker that gives you benefits. So as you can see, when it comes to our action skill tree, what exactly we're going into, well, we got a little bit of something and everything here. But obviously in the red tree, we're going to be going into the Eternal Fist. Now, why do we pick the Eternal Fist over maybe Ties That Bind, something like that? Well, again, we're focusing more on that single, just like pulling an enemy up in there, holding them in place, and then doing damage. Again, like Darth Vader does with a lot of his enemies, he picks them up, slashes them, throws his lightsaber at him, something like that, goes to the next guy. He does really good at just like holding people in the air and then just beating them that way. So we want to do that, but we picked Eternal Fist more than anything, just the fact that whenever a grass enemy is killed, a new fist seeks out and grasps them. So he's constantly just going bam, 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 going through, constantly just like killing each of the enemies, so they're just not unable to do any damage back at you. In regards to the augments and stuff we added onto there, we put Soulfire for the extra fire damage, and then Allure just for the fact that it's going to pull everybody in. So once we kill that one enemy with the Eternal that's been affected by the Eternal Fist, it'll be much easier for the next enemy to be picked up from that. In regards to what skills we're actually going into, honestly, just in general, kind of build in regards to this. We got some Anima, we got Infusion, and then Tempest. All three of these I think are just super beneficial for this build. Steady Hands wouldn't be a too bad one to go into, but I didn't really want to go in Illuminated Fist because we're not doing any melee. I didn't want to do Wildfire because it didn't make sense for the build. It didn't feel like it fit right. We have Dread as well, Deep Well, just so we get those extra magazine sizes since we're using nothing but elemental weapons. We went indiscriminate. Now, this was affected by the most recent patch, but at the same time, it's a little bit better than putting into something like Catharsis, or again, something like Wildfire or Illuminated Fist. 1 point is sustainment, just because, I mean, we're already going to be doing a lot of lifesteal, just since we're using an elemental damage weapon, so there's really no point. And we just had that free point in the Conflux as well. In regards to the green tree, I kind of have this moved around kind of a fun way. We have 3 points in a personal space because, again, I kind of feel like this meets the thematic part of the build. Darth Vader is a in-your-face type villain, so extra personal, the personal space damage is super beneficial. 2 points in a Route to Rise just so we can get down to this bar. And then Helping Hands to essentially just completely and utterly block out a lot of that extra damage that's coming in. It's just very helpful. I have some points in Samsara, just because, again, I kind of want some extra stacks, some extra gun damage. The health regen is super beneficial as well. We could go into a different skill, maybe put some more into Route to Rise, or even put in the arms deal. But it just really depends on exactly what you're wanting to do. And then when it comes to the blue tree, now this is a really big one. Again, Do Harm is so big right now for Amara. We obviously wanted to go into that as much as humanly possible, and also a couple of the other things that help benefit it. I went to Fast Hands as well, just so we get that extra reload speed. We're able to swap out our weapons. With this build, you kind of want to be moving around as much as you can in regards to that. It's not like some of our other builds where you might be using one weapon at a time. It really does benefit to kind of swap around, maybe go from a flipper to an insider, or a flipper to a beacon, something like that. Restless, because we want our action skill as much as humanly possible. Ascendant was a big one because this is going to help out Allure, getting that radius a little bit bigger. Laid Bare and Wrath just for some extra damage as much as humanly possible, and then Awakening just so we get more effectiveness out of those rush stacks. In regards to our Mayhem modifiers, I did not want to go, again, into speed at all. Like, I don't think of Darth Vader as a super speedy character, you know? I always see him as kind of a slow walk, grabs the enemies, walks up to them, beats them that way. Nothing speedy-like. So, Slayer, I thought was a really good one, just for the fact that we can phase grass somebody if they're blued out. You know, you can punch them real quick. Or just, yeah, continue just to shoot them. Heal the Avenger, just because it's always going to be the best medium modifier. Pool Party is one that you can kind of swap in and out, just because it really just depends on what you're wanting to do. For me, in like tight areas, it kind of sucked, but at the same time, you want to be moving around with this build just a little bit. You don't want to be kind of like just standing still in one spot. So this is one that it comes and goes, really just depending on what you're at. And then the buddy system, because it's easily the best very hard modifier, just because you just got to shoot that drone and you're good to go. So again, like I mentioned, this is kind of a slower Amara build. You're not really going to be doing a whole lot of speed, anything like that. It's more kind of going around almost like an old Maya build from Borderlands 2, where you pull everyone together, you shoot them, and then it moves on to the next person, and then you're able to shoot them. Just this constant phase grasping across the battlefield. Super beneficial, I think, for just some like easy gameplay. Nothing too complicated. I think this is probably one of my favorite Amara builds I've made so far, just because of just the simplicity of it, if anything. But again, this is the capping off of our Star Wars thematic series. Make sure you're checking out those other builds, the AT-AT Mose, the Mandalorian Flak, and the Emperor Palpatine Zane. You can also check out all these builds on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/birdman778. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've got some other streams sprinkled in between there, so make sure you're staying up to date on my social media feeds, twitter.com/birdman778, instagram.com/birdmangram, and then obviously here on YouTube, youtube.com/birdman778. Make sure you're giving this video a thumbs up. Down below, tell me, what is your favorite Star Wars movie? I'm going to be honest, guys. One of my favorites is The Last Jedi. I know that's going to trigger some people, but tell me why it triggers you down below. But guys, thank you so much for being by. Hope you have a wonderful day, night, whatever it may be. But other than that, stay smexy.